Turns out Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing.
I'm here to tell my truth and make a shit ton of money out of podcasting, as I don't have any discernible talent.
What do you guys do at home?
Who's filming this?
It all kicked off in an instant. Jo Koy strutted onto the Golden Globe stage, flashing a grin at a room packed with Hollywood's elite. And then, bam, he hit everyone with a surprise nobody saw coming. His target? Let's just say he didn't hold back. The tension was electric. Celebrities froze mid-sip of champagne, eyes darting like, did he really just say that? Oh, he did.
I locked myself in a room and I started to binge watch everything.
The intention of the show was to share more of myself.
You keep saying Meghan Markle, you know I'm Sussex now.
To share tips that I love in my life.
When nature has given you all the cues on how to have a perfect taste of something.
Oh, how fun is that? I love it.
I appreciate what hard work looks like. I like working hard.
He compared a wildly publicized saga to a chaotic TV drama, tossing jokes about the millions involved in high-profile streaming projects. He didn't stop there. He roasted one of the most talked about figures in entertainment as the human version of that friend who somehow manages to make every single conversation all about themselves. It was brutal, it was precise. And the audience? They erupted. Because it wasn't just funny, it felt like a release. For years, this figure had carefully polished every public appearance, curated every interview, every social post, every lifestyle brand. But in a single moment, Jo Koy shattered all that polish with nothing but a punchline. People had been waiting for a joke that said out loud what everyone was whispering behind closed doors. And the crazy part? That was only the opener. What followed turned into a worldwide comedy event.
While my family was out there clanking champagne glasses and I was watching.
This year, alongside her Netflix series, Meghan made her first move into online retail with As Ever.
Wow.
It's an evolution of her passion for lifestyle content, which dates back to the TIG.
Woof.
Meghan wouldn't share sales figures for As Ever,
What?
but so far, most of its inventory has quickly sold out.
Oh my God.
So savage, even the most loyal fans couldn't ignore it. When Jo leaned into the microphone, it was clear. This wouldn't be a forgettable, safe award show monologue. No way. His first big hit landed hard on the entertainment world. It wasn't a throwaway joke, it was a full-on roast that set the tone for the night. He painted high-profile celebrities as over-the-top, privileged stars, poking fun at how easy fame and money can make life, and how sometimes the perception of hard work can be, well, a little stretched, just existing. The line landed like a dart, and the audience lost it. Because everyone instantly got the joke. And the buzz didn't stop when the cameras cut away. Within hours, the ripples hit Hollywood hard. Celebrities started chiming in, taking subtle jabs, and the gloves were off. Actress Alexandra Daddario made a sly remark in an interview that wasn't supposed to make headlines, but fans immediately picked up on the shade. Even late-night talk shows jumped in. Jimmy Fallon joked about high-profile streaming shows, saying some looked more like Pinterest boards full of recycled ideas than actual lifestyle content.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. And that's just by Netflix.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Just a great series about a rich, white, dysfunctional family, all scheming. Oh no, that's The Crown. That's The Crown. I'm sorry. Her portrayal of the Queen was so good, Prince Harry called her for it and asked her for money.
Stephen Colbert got cheeky, riffing on private nicknames of a famous couple, saying they sounded less like stars and more like a quirky pop duo that didn't quite take off. But the sharpest hit? That came from Saturday Night Live. The show didn't just poke fun. It turned over-the-top personalities into cartoon versions of themselves, exaggerating every dramatic moment while highlighting the humor and seeking attention. What really stood out wasn't just the jokes. It was the sense that the entertainment world had finally found permission to laugh out loud. The spotlight was on, the tension eased, and suddenly the room felt free to turn bold mockery into mainstream entertainment. If Jo Koy lit the fuse, Nikki Glaser was the one who set off the full-blown explosion. Known for her fearless roasts and razor-sharp delivery, Nikki didn't hold anything back. She didn't tiptoe around any celebrity. She went straight for the core, hitting with precision and zero hesitation. During one of her stand-up sets, she delivered a line that immediately went viral, leaving the crowd half in shock and half in guilty agreement.
We didn't plan for everything selling out in under an hour. And so watching those metrics happen in real time, it's already sold out. Because I'm business-minded, I'm immediately going, okay, well...
How good, how embarrassing.
Meghan Markle has ruined your workout regime. Is this true? If so, how?
Yes, she had.
It was the kind of joke that peeled back the glitter and glamour to reveal a big, uncomfortable question. What exactly does this person bring to the spotlight? Unlike Jo Koy's playful digs, Nikki's punchline landed with serious weight. It wasn't just comedy, it was commentary. She highlighted a truth many whispered behind closed doors. Fame isn't always built on talent or groundbreaking work. Sometimes, it comes from being in the right place at the right time. And the revelation of ordinary wrapped in extraordinary stung far more than any parody sketch ever could. The genius of Nikki's takedown was in its simplicity. No long setups, no complicated metaphors, just a clean, sharp reminder that some Hollywood status is more about connections than merit. The audience laughed, but an unease lingered. For some, it was validation. For others, it was a reminder of a reality they couldn't easily ignore. When Nikki left the stage, it was clear this wasn't just a roast. It was a cultural gut check.
She came into New York last weekend, and she went to a yoga place called Moto Yoga, which is my yoga place. It's where I always go. But now that she went there, everyone's going to want to go there. There's not going to be any room. It's going to be harder to get in. So now that it's more famous, I think Meghan Markle is, it's her big trip to New York. It's just going to be harder to get in.
And if America's comedians had their say, Britain wasn't about to stay silent either. Across the Atlantic, satire shows sharpened their knives, turning high-profile figures into the centerpiece of relentless parody. Legendary puppet shows portrayed them as over-the-top caricatures, lounging in luxury while fussing over trivial complaints. One puppet version fretted endlessly about designer outfits and social media clout, while the other stumbled around confused about life outside the spotlight. It was biting, it was exaggerated, and it spread like wildfire across British media.
What is the #1 question that mystifies scientists?
Is there life on another planet?
Oh no. Why does Meghan Markle make her own pretzel bags?
What?
This, we're just gonna put into a different bag.
That's interesting. She takes it from one bag and puts it in another bag.
It's another bag.
And that confuses people.
The best way to have a snack is to take the snack out of one bag and then move them into another bag and then label this new bag, even though this bag already has a label on it. Tap water!
It's the biggest piece of dog
Meanwhile, American satire cranked things up even further. Shows like South Park turned the so-called worldwide spotlight tour into its own cultural phenomenon. In animated form, celebrities were shown marching around with protest signs demanding privacy while somehow leaping in front of cameras at every turn. Every opportunity for irony became a gag so sharp that clips went viral globally within hours. Viewers weren't just laughing, they were nodding. For many, the sketches captured frustrations they couldn't quite put into words. The contradiction of shunning attention while still living life in front of cameras. Both Spitting Image and South Park did something rare. They turned public figures into universal punchlines. And unlike a fleeting joke at an award show, satire sticks. It shapes how audiences perceive celebrities, reshapes reputations, and leaves impressions that last far longer than a single monologue.
Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H. What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
I said H was H, H was out. H has been, H is, and H called me with H, and H was out, and with H.
By the time these episodes aired, the narrative had shifted. It wasn't just comedians leading the charge anymore, it was pop culture itself declaring open season. By the time stand-up legends weighed in, these figures had become less about status or titles and more about being the punchline everyone could relate to. The cultural moment was set, and it was impossible to ignore. But the story didn't stop with one viral joke or a handful of sketches. The next wave of comedy came from the sharpest minds in stand-up and late-night TV, and they didn't hold back either. Every quip, every punchline, every sly observation added fuel to the fire, turning the spotlight into a full-blown entertainment spectacle.
We'd like to apologise. Unfortunately, William's hair was unable to make it this evening. Just shave it, Wills.
Okay, just shut up about the hair.
What hair? Oh, I'm sorry.
Celebrities and comedians started digging into every public moment, every interview, every lifestyle move. Nothing was too small, nothing too mundane. A casual Instagram post? Boom. Instant material. A podcast appearance? Boom, another punchline. Every appearance, every statement was now fair game, and audiences were eating it up. One late-night host took things to another level.
We know what that means.
That's LA. She wants to be famous. She found the guy to make her the most famous in the world, and now she's over there and she's like, she didn't marry him, she would be on The Bachelor this season. She would be Megan M. from Sherman Oaks barista. She's just got lucky.
Joking about the endless media coverage and how it seemed like some stars were competing to see who could be the most relatable while still living in a world most people could only dream of. The audience went wild. Another comic riffed on luxury events and behind-the-scenes access, turning ordinary celebrity life into absurd, exaggerated tales that had viewers laughing while shaking their heads. What really caught everyone's attention was how the humor highlighted the contrast between public image and private reality. Comedians weren't just making people laugh. They were pointing out the gaps between expectation and truth, between what fans see on screens and what actually happens behind the curtain.
Meghan Markle.
And they did it with style, sarcasm, and punchy, unforgettable lines. Animated shows jumped in next, turning high-profile figures into cartoon versions of themselves. Exaggerated facial expressions, over-the-top reactions, and playful storylines turned serious moments into comedy gold. In these versions, every minor gesture became iconic, every statement blown up to absurd proportions. Audiences couldn't get enough. It was the perfect mix of satire and spectacle. Even award shows joined the fun. Hosts tossed out lines that referenced viral moments, subtle jokes about social media trends, and clever nods to every publicized event. The crowd laughed, gasped, and cheered. It was a reminder that comedy could be more than entertainment. It could be cultural commentary. What made this period truly unforgettable was how every platform seemed to build on the last. A joke on stage would inspire a sketch on TV, which would inspire a viral social media clip, which would spark memes, reaction videos, and fan discussions around the globe. It was a chain reaction of humor, clever observations, and public fascination that kept audiences hooked week after week. And through it all, the personalities at the center became something bigger than themselves. No longer just people in the headlines. They became symbols of how public life, media scrutiny, and fame collide in hilarious, sometimes absurd ways.
Watch the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary. Now, I'll be honest with you, before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs. But now I've actually heard their side of the story, I fucking hate them.
Comedians and satirists were no longer just commenting. They were shaping culture, turning everyday headlines into universally recognized moments. By the end, what had started as a few daring jokes at an awards show had evolved into a worldwide comedic phenomenon. It wasn't just about roasts anymore. It was about storytelling, satire, and cultural commentary. The lessons were clear. When fame meets media and creativity meets critique, the results can be explosive, unforgettable, and endlessly entertaining.
Pads, tell me, everyone knows you're the bear who likes to share. What's the secret to your eternal personal glow?
Well, Harry, I'm glad you asked me that. As you know, I'm a huge fan of South American product.
Is it Colombian?
No, 100% Peruvian, biodynamic, organic, catastrophic,
Yes, I've tried it, and the results were incredible.
Audiences weren't just laughing. They were witnessing history in the making. One punchline at a time. Every joke, every sketch, every viral moment had contributed to a global conversation that blurred the lines between comedy and culture, entertainment and commentary. And the best part? It all felt like it could happen to anyone. Because in the world of comedy, no one is too big, too polished, or too untouchable to become the star of the show. Chris Rock didn't waste a second when he stepped on stage. He went straight for the punch, delivering a savage analogy that had the crowd roaring. He dismissed a widely publicized claim of being shocked by high-profile celebrity culture with a line nobody could forget. That's like marrying into the Budweiser family and acting surprised they drink beer. The audience erupted, not just because it was hilarious, but because it perfectly exposed the absurdity of a carefully curated public image. Meanwhile, British comic Simon Rodkin, famous for skewering powerful figures, targeted a high-profile documentary series.
Everybody trying to be a victim. Like, what's this girl, Meghan Markle? Seemed like a nice lady, just complaining. I was like, didn't she hit the light-skinned lottery?
He went after its polished drone shots, its overly dramatic storytelling, and its attempt to turn everyday life into headline-grabbing content. His joke framed the series less as a documentary and more like a reality show about privileged people, navigating challenges that seemed far smaller than the hype suggested. As the jokes piled up, the media amplified every punchline, turning comedy into a cultural verdict. Front pages splashed Jo Koy's lines, while talk shows replayed Nikki Glaser's ruthless roast on loop. Headlines weren't framing anyone as a victim of humor. They framed them as the source of it. Comment sections, Twitter threads, and TikTok clips lit up as audiences echoed the sentiment. This public figure had finally been unmasked. For years, the narrative of being misunderstood or silenced had dominated coverage, but now audiences were laughing instead of sympathizing.
They were complaining that to pay for their own security. They were not happy about that. Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things. After 6 episodes, I wanted to attack them.
There was a collective fatigue, a sense that polished interviews and staged documentaries no longer felt genuine. Laughter suddenly felt truer than the carefully scripted stories. Even mainstream outlets that once defended the celebrity started shifting tone, noting how comedians had dismantled a carefully controlled public image with brutal efficiency. In Hollywood, perception is everything, and losing control of the punchline means losing control of the brand. The most striking twist? The public silence from the celebrities themselves. They didn't respond, but in a world where attention is currency, silence doesn't protect, it amplifies. By not fighting back, they let the jokes define the narrative. Every jab, every sketch, every viral clip set the tone, and audiences noticed. What made this cultural roast stand out from past celebrity scandals was its staying power. Usually, a high-profile joke trends for a weekend and disappears, but this snowballed. Late-night bits turned into memes. Memes evolved into TikTok trends. Suddenly, the couple wasn't just being joked about. They were branded as the ultimate punchline. That shift had real consequences. Corporate insiders whispered about a celebrity fatigue effect. Streaming platforms, publishers, and even endorsement deals began questioning whether projects tied to the duo could still attract attention. The financial allure of fame was evaporating. Even charity appearances and promotional events seemed less glamorous, overshadowed by viral clips of comedians mercilessly lampooning them. The message was clear. Once public perception tilts from admiration to amusement, controlling the narrative becomes almost impossible. In this case, the comedy didn't fade. It grew, shaping the story as much as any headline ever could. Audiences were laughing, sharing, and replaying every moment, turning jokes into a cultural phenomenon that lingered long after the stage lights dimmed. And just when it seemed like the jokes had run their course, the comedy world found new ways to escalate the spectacle. Podcasts, late-night panels, and social media creators jumped in, dissecting every move, every interview, every public appearance. Nothing escaped the spotlight. Every outfit, every comment, every carefully crafted moment became material for humor, and audiences couldn't get enough. One viral podcast clip summed it up perfectly. It's like watching a high-stakes reality show where every character thinks they're the star, but the script keeps writing itself. And that was exactly it. The narrative had spun out of control and the public was hooked. Memes exploded, reaction videos flooded TikTok, and comedy accounts across the globe piled on with their takes. It wasn't just laughter anymore, it was a full-blown cultural movement.
Meghan is living a life that she's winning and she's doing all these great things, but the reality is not that. The reality is she's a joke. It's embarrassing at this point. It's like, oh my gosh, for real, Meghan, you did that? You're gonna keep doing this? I mean, wow.
Even streaming shows and scripted series joined the frenzy. Writers and comedians mined every appearance, transforming ordinary gestures into absurd, exaggerated scenarios that kept the jokes fresh week after week. Late-night hosts riffed on the same material, each time adding a new twist, a sharper angle, or a wittier observation. Audiences were laughing at the sheer audacity of it all. Yet the brilliance of this wave was how it layered humor with social commentary. These weren't just funny lines, they highlighted contradictions, quirks, and the realities of living life in the public eye. Comedy became a lens, revealing how fame can exaggerate every move, amplify every mistake, and turn ordinary moments into headline events. Animated shows and parody sketches kept the momentum alive. Caricatured versions of high-profile figures were everywhere. Exaggerated expressions, playful storylines, and ridiculous situations turned them into household punchlines. Every viral clip reminded audiences that in the world of entertainment, no one is untouchable. Everyone can be laughed at, analyzed, and shared endlessly. Even award shows got in on the action. Hosts referenced viral jokes, poked fun at streaming ventures, and dropped sly nods to trending memes. The audience roared, cheering every line. It was a reminder that comedy wasn't just for entertainment. It had the power to shape public perception, redefine narratives, and influence culture in real time. What made this period unforgettable was how fast and far the humor spread. A single joke could spark a meme, which inspired a TikTok, which turned into reaction videos across platforms, all within hours. It became a non-stop feedback loop, where every public moment was amplified, dissected, and shared worldwide. Comedy had become unstoppable. By this point, the celebrities at the center had transformed into symbols of a broader cultural phenomenon. They were no longer just individuals in the headlines, they represented how fame, media scrutiny, and public fascination collide in unexpected and hilarious ways. Comedians and satirists weren't just commenting, they were shaping the story, turning headlines into global entertainment, and reminding audiences that in the world of fame, perception is everything. In the end, what started as a few daring monologues and viral sketches evolved into a worldwide comedic movement. Every punchline, every sketch, every social media clip contributed to a collective cultural experience. Laughter wasn't just an outlet, it became a statement, a shared way for audiences to process the absurdity, contradictions, and spectacle of modern celebrity. And through it all, one thing was clear. In today's world of constant attention and viral moments, no star is too polished, no image too perfect, and no story too scripted to escape the sharp eyes and quick wit of the comedy world. The show had officially become bigger than any one stage. It had become a global stage of its own. Even now, the mockery hadn't stopped. It chipped away at the one thing that high-profile figures always try to sell: authenticity. When audiences start to sense something phony, no PR campaign, no glossy interview, and no viral documentary can fully repair the damage. Comedy has its own rules, and one of the most powerful is simple. Jokes land hardest when they contain a grain of truth. And that's exactly what happened. The more comedians hammered at contradictions, the more those truths stuck in the public's mind. Every punchline, every witty observation reinforced a reality that polished statements couldn't erase. Stage by stage, sketch by sketch, the narrative shifted. By the end of this intense comedy cycle, the figures at the center weren't just high-profile personalities, they had become cultural symbols. No longer seen as misunderstood or controversial in the usual ways, they were transformed into living examples of contradiction and irony. They weren't victims of the jokes, they were the joke, and the world noticed. It all began the night Jo Koy fired the opening shot at the Golden Globes. One daring monologue cracked the dam, and suddenly every comedian, every late-night host, and every satirical show piled on. Nikki Glaser's ruthless quips, South Park's over-the-top parodies, Chris Rock's sharp analogies, and even Bill Maher's no-holds-barred commentary created a cascade of humor that swept across the globe. In a matter of weeks, these personalities went from glamour and prestige to being the target of ridicule. And the most surprising part? The world didn't just laugh, they agreed. The jokes resonated, spread, and became the new lens through which the public viewed them. What this global comedy storm proved is simple. Once the public stops taking you seriously, your image and brand are no longer under your control. Carefully crafted narratives, polished interviews, and high-profile projects can't undo the effect of a well-timed punchline that captures a perceived truth. For the celebrities at the center, the image of misunderstood stars was shattered and replaced with a permanent label: punchline. And in Hollywood, there's nothing more damaging than becoming the joke. But this wasn't a single moment in time. Comedy had been circling them for years, quietly observing, readying every clever line, every observation, every subtle jab. Jo Koy's Golden Globes monologue wasn't the start. It was just the loudest, most explosive chapter in a story that had been building for years. The lesson was clear. In a world where audiences have the final say, no image, no brand, and no polished narrative is untouchable. Once the spotlight turns into a stage for satire, there's no turning back. And every joke, big or small, becomes part of the permanent story. If you watch this and have thoughts, drop them in the comments below. If this breakdown made you see things differently, hit subscribe and stay locked in for more deep dives like this. Don't forget to like the video and share it with someone who needs to see it.